first tell us what motivated you to jump into the Pakistani politics?
After the 9th May incidents, there was a great vacuum, and in fact, there was no one in the field to lead the processions, rallies, and conventions. So that was the time when Khan needed someone who could take his message to the people and purge the fears in the masses' minds. The role which I am supposed to play is to be determined by the Khan himself.
Where PTI stands now as far as dialogue with the government is concerned, when PTI was in power, it refused to sit with the then opposition.
That the Pakistan needs a broader dialogue, and that dialogue must be held amongst the stakeholders, including the institutions, which I mean establishment, and the political parties.
Don't you think KP government is having a different attitude towards counter-terrorism campaign? Why it is so?
I believe that the KP government has, within its limited paraphernalia and resources for fighting against militancy, has done extremely well.
Why PTI has been seeking foreign interference into the internal political matters of Pakistan? First, PTI raised the slogan, absolutely not. Then it made a U-turn from absolutely not to absolutely yes. Right, holding demonstration outside IMF headquarters, lobbying for a resolution in US Congress, a foreign interference, things like that. So why PTI has been seeking foreign interference to meet its vested in political interest in Pakistan?
Those accusing PTI of inviting any foreign interference are in fact living in the fool's paradise.
Most critical day in Pakistan's history when armed forces installations, military offices, these all were attacked. Why Mr. Khan is reluctant in apologizing and admitting 9th May that there was his role?
There are a large number of false accusations against Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, Pakistan's current political situation is changing every day. There are challenges, there are ups and downs, and when we talk of the Pakistani politics, there are so many characters who are creating the situation, who are creating the challenge and who are meeting the challenge as well. And when we talk of the current political situation in Pakistan, there is a one rising name, and that name is Mr. Sher Afzal Marwat. Sher Afzal Marwat made entry into Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf only few years ago, and within a short span of time, he is now considered as one of the most popular leader amongst the youth of Pakistan. What is the reason? That within the short span of time, he made entry into a party where, for an ordinary worker like him, was not possible to reach to the top leadership. And what are the current challenges? How Sher Afzal Marwat was thrown out of the party a few months ago, and how he made entry once again. What is PTI's manifesto for Pakistan, and what were his differences? To talk about these all things, we are fortunately to have with us Sher Afzal Marwat, who is member of the National Assembly of Pakistan and a senior leader of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Assalamu alaikum and very warm welcome to program Insight in V News English, Sher Afzal Marwat sir.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for inviting me to your show.
Mr. Marwat, first tell us what motivated you to jump into the Pakistani politics, which is full of risk, which is full of challenges, and it's very, very difficult to survive. in a large political party, there are so many risks involved. So you knew while you made a decision to join politics?
Well, though I joined Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf a couple of years before the May 9th, but after the 9th May incidents, there was a great vacuum, and in fact, there was no one in the field to lead the processions, rallies, and conventions, so as to inculcate courage and strength amongst the masses of Pakistan, who, as a result of the crackdown on the PTI workers and the series of events, including breaking into the houses of the PTI worker, arrest and detention of the female senior leadership of PTI, they are sending to the military tribunals, arrest and re-arrest, and in fact, dozens of arrests of those released. And thus, all these incidents created a picture, a very gloomy picture of war, fear, and desolation. So that was the time when Khan needed someone who could take his message to the people and purge the fears in the masses' minds. So I, in fact, did not find any competitor. And I answered to the call. I never knew it, that this is something which is politics. In fact, I was carrying the message of Khan, and I was telling the people of Pakistan that we need to defeat this monster of fear, monster of deception. And I was telling the people that because of the Khan, the cause of the Khan was to enlighten the people about their fundamental rights and to tell them that they could only achieve their destination, their dreams, after defeating the fear. So, to achieve this, I led more than 80 processions, rallies, conventions in different parts of the country. And that was the time when there were only 3 people. One was Khan, whom I would inform and update about my movements, my rallies and conventions. Second were the workers, whom I would inform that my program is for these dates. And third was myself. So that was a very convenient, combination. However, after February 8th, a large number of leadership came out of the underground, as they had undergone underground as a matter of policy taken by Khan himself. And when they came out, then I honestly started facing troubles in continuing with my mission of carrying out procession, rallies, and conventions, because probably they wanted their shares in the processions and rallies. So slowly and steadily, I was sidelined through a well-hatched conspiracy. And with the result of that, after 11th April, we haven't been able to hold a single Jalsa or mass demonstration anywhere in the country.
This is what I wanted to ask you as far as 22nd August public meeting, which was announced much advance and it was publicized. Please tell our viewers, cancelling this public meeting, which was much publicized, there was an NOC already, then that NOC was cancelled by the Islamabad administration. So cancellation of your much publicized public meeting, what do you think? It has a negative impact on the workers. Workers were very motivated. So what is the background story of cancellation of today's public meeting?
Well, I met Khan Saab a week back after 3 months of aloofness, after 3 months of distance and time distance. When I met him, I was told that as we are holding the public meeting on 22nd August, directed me to fully cooperate with Imran Khan, who is in fact the chief organizer of this event, today's event. Well, I participated by calling on masses through my social media messages to motivate the people and urging them to participate. I was all set to lead the rallies from Islamabad to the place where the public meeting was scheduled to be held. However, when I got up today at about 12, I came to know that all of a sudden the Jalsa has been cancelled pursuant to the oral direction issued by Khan in a meeting that was held between him and Mr. Gore and Senator Al-Swati this morning. Well, this was a very shocking news for me because I believe that, in fact, we should not have let it be done through Khan. Previously, it was cancelled, and we have been cancelling this procession, this Jalsa, ever since 23rd of March 2024. So this has disappointed the public at large, particularly the workers of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. And for me, this was pretty shocking. However, the instructions had been issued by Khan. So this postponement of the meeting was attributed to the oral direction of Khan Sahib, and in this view of the matter, there could not have been a second view except to comply with the instruction of Khan Sahib. However, in the meantime, I started receiving calls from a host of people asking me as to whether they should continue journey toward the place of public meeting or not. And then I decided that I ought to go visit the meeting place and thanks the people who had already arrived there. But suddenly today, police and agencies people broke into the house. In fact, I had gone underground 2 days back, fearing that they may attempt to arrest me. So yesterday I shifted to another location, and when after 12:30, about 12:30 today p.m., the masked people accompanied by SHO Borla and an inspector, they broke into the house and then burst into my room all of a sudden. And then I was accompanied by 7 guards. As they came into, they physically assaulted all of us. A scuffle took place, and in the ensuing scuffle, after they started beating my guards, I directed them to respond, and we snatched their rifles and pistols. And when the arms came into my guards' hands, the police and the agency people ran away. We closed the door from inside, and then I issued a video message to the PTI workers informing that this has happened and we have fled weapons from raiding party. After some time, more police reinforcement arrived, and they then informed that, in fact, they wanted their arms back and that there is no warrant with them. Anyhow, finally, I returned the arms to them, and they took me out from that house, kept me on road for about 3 hours. They wanted, in fact, to keep me engaged so that I may not be able to issue a statement to the people to come to the meeting place. They were probably fearing that I would not go by the decision of the party and I might attempt to assemble the people despite the revocation instruction by Khan Sahib. So I was brought back to the State House, and then I was thereafter I came to my office. I announced a press conference, and I narrated the whole account. So the gist is that I believe that this postponement of the public meeting is a very shocking news for the PTI workers. Secondly, 8th September has been fixed as a new date. But this time I am not gonna take any responsibility for this Jalsa unless the public meeting, protests, and demonstration responsibility is exclusively given to me again. Because there may be a postponement, God forbid, it may never happen, but if there is another postponement, then it will make a mockery of the prestige of the party leadership, including myself, which I would never want. So, unless if I am given exclusively the responsibility of leading the people for protests, I may not make any statement declaring that the public meeting will be held definitely, and if not held, then certain responsibility would fall on me.
Mr. Marwat, last week you had a meeting, as you said, that you were distanced by certain elements within Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. Last time when you met PTI founder chairman in jail, so it was an extraordinary meeting, as you told the media. Now, what is your role in Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, and where that notification stands? That notification which suspended your basic membership of the party. So after meeting Khan, where you stand in party and what is your role in the party now?
The role which I am supposed to play is to be determined by the Khan himself. Secondly, as far as the meeting with the Khan Sahib is concerned, I've already enumerated the minute details of how I met him and how did I complain to him. In fact, I was replete with a bunch of complaints to him because I thought I have not been dealt fairly by the party. Anyhow, he gave me a very patient hearing, and he also complained that I did not adhere to his instruction because he had directed me not to make public the names of the individuals in the party who were opposed to me. And once I had violated this, and he was complaining about this, anyhow, the decision was that I told him that if in future he receives any complaint with regard to my conduct, then it ought to be verified through Mr. Bohar or Mr. Ali Amin Khan, Chief Minister KP, because I trusted both of them. I also asked Khan Sahib to hand me back the responsibilities of leading processions and demonstrations, rallies and conventions. The Khan did ask Mr. Bohar that I would, that Mr. Sher Afzal would be vested with a certain role, but till date that is not defined, and probably the Khan himself has to decide about it. Because I believe what has happened today by postponement of this public meeting, I believe that we need not to attribute or take anyone to the Khan Sahib in the future and urge him that because of these compelling circumstances, we could not hold public meeting. Khan Sahib has a limited access to information, and he ordinarily make decision based on the situation and circumstances portrayed before. So today I in fact suggest that the only solution for the future confusion is that a protest committee be constituted across the Pakistan, which ought to comprise of 10 to 15 people, and in fact they should be exclusively conferred with the responsibility of deciding about the fate of demonstrations, rallies, and conventions.
So tell our viewers that where PTI stands now as far as dialogue with the government is concerned. When PTI was in power, it refused to sit with the then opposition. That opposition is now in power. So political dialogue is the essence of democracy. PTI didn't invite the then opposition when it was in power. Now PTI is desperately looking for reconciliation, dialogue. But don't you think it is too late now?
I don't think
Yes.
there is any time limit in politics for a political dialogue, number one. Number two, the dialogue is in fact the necessity of the entire nation. It must be carried out, but the Khan has shown resilience and in fact stubbornness over holding dialogue with the people who have stolen our mandate. And he's very right in his view that how come we sit on a dialogue table with the people who have stolen away our mandate. And he ordinarily, cites an example that if somebody breaks into your house, at gunpoint he deprives you of your belongings, and then when he goes out, he asks you to come and sit with me and let's settle it out. So, in this view of the matter, and keeping in view your question, I believe that the Pakistan needs a broader dialogue, and that dialogue must be held amongst the stakeholders, including the institutions, which I mean establishment, and the political parties. And the one-point agenda before the participants should be as to whether through these ways, can we advance our country in any manner? Can we serve the country in the way we have been holding our affairs?
Mr. Marwat, yes, that's very true. Coming to your province, KP, which is now hit by the terrorist from across the border, which is now called Fitna al-Khawarij. And these Khawarijis are now attacking Pakistan security forces. But don't you think KP government is having a different attitude towards counter-terrorism campaign? Why it is so? And federal government alleges that the KP government did not spend the funds which were meant to counter terrorism. Rather, these funds were diverted to certain other areas. So tell us the KP's role, KP's government, the PTI is having the government over there, why it is indifferent as far as fighting the terrorism is concerned. Mr. Marwat.
So far as the role of the KP government terrorism is concerned, hardly 4 months have passed since the assumption of power by the KP government led by Chief Minister Mr. Ali Khan Gandapur. So far as these 4 months are concerned, 3 major events took place. One was in Banu, second was in Parachinar, and third was in the Khan. You see that Banu and Parachinar incidents were overcome, the grievances of the people were addressed, and as a result thereof, the militancy has been wiped out of these 2 districts. Now, at the moment, Tang, Waziristan, Banu, the Khan, Pajawur, and to some extent Puram, these are the affected areas. Fighting militancy is not the job of the police. It is to be fought by the armed forces, which has been fighting this. And in the past 7 operations, military operations were carried out in different parts of KP, and in all the claims, tall claims were made that the operations were successful in a very significant way, and that extremism and militancy has been exterminated. However, we see that after some time it resurges. And we have seen that there is, in fact, a continuation of the militancy and terrorism in KP ever since 2001, after the 9/11 incidents. So, I believe that the KP government has, within its limited paraphernalia and resources for fighting against militancy, has done extremely well. However, one must realize and know that fighting militancy is not the job of police. It is established claim of the armed forces that this is for the army, and everywhere in the world it is the army which finds terrorists. The police is not trained in a manner. It is not equipped with the logistics, equipments, arms and ammunition to enable it to fight it in a very conducive way. So, and the claim that it has diverted the budget or the finances for the counter-terrorism department for some other purpose is false. In fact, a great deal of budget allocation has been made to the police, which is in billions, and probably it is the highest allocation in budget for any department in the KP budget for 2024.
Mr. Marwat, there is an important fact you will also like to comment on that, and we seek your definitely comment. When PTI says Pakistan first and Pakistan is our end, Pakistan is the top priority, then why PTI has been seeking foreign interference into the internal political matters of Pakistan? First, PTI raised the slogan, absolutely not. Then it made a U-turn from absolutely not to absolutely yes. Right, holding demonstration outside IMF headquarters, lobbying for a resolution in US Congress, a foreign interference, things like that. So why PTI has been seeking foreign interference to meet its vested in political interest in Pakistan? Why not to motivate people? Why not to struggle within Pakistani system? Why assistance from Washington and other countries?
Well, in fact, as is known, the story based on Cypher reveals that the regime change in 2023 was the handiwork of the Biden administration. He hardly needs any argument for it. Secondly, so we are the victim of the foreign interference. Secondly, if urging IMF to issue finances to the government of Pakistan on the condition of audit of the election process, what is wrong with it? We only demanded that it ought to be subjected to the audit of the electioneering process.
Exactly.
So electioneering was transparent, and as the result thereof, the government that has come into existence is legitimate. So there would have been no moral bottlenecks for the IMF, because the government now holding or sitting at the helm of affair is not the legitimate government. It is known to everyone that on the basis of Form 47, the mandate of the people was stolen. Now, this was the demand. And if somebody sees that there is wrong with it, now then such person must keep in mind that Pakistan has witnessed over the past 2 years worst type of human rights violation. We have witnessed the erosion of the people's faith in the justice system. We saw the compromised judiciary, the judiciary which had practically surrendered to the mighty agencies and administration. We also witnessed that the civilians who were taken before the military tribunals. We also witnessed a reign of terror and incessant, most blatant violation of the human rights. Political party PTI was in fact reduced to the status of giver of food and dropper of water. Its workers were not allowed to carry the flag. Its voters were not allowed to convene and hold convention during the election hearing. Its political symbol, election symbol, was snatched. Its candidates were kidnapped. Its followers and leadership were forced, abducted, and then they were forced to change their political loyalties. So on 8th of February, Pakistanis went to the polling booth in circumstances where there was a thickening gloom and growing desolation. But because of the effort that the PTI undertook, the people were able to vote for PTI. And we saw a big revolution on 8th February when the whole nation voted for PTI. Despite the tentacles of the fear and monster of deception, and in fact, gripped the entire society. Now, those accusing PTI of inviting any foreign interference are in fact living in the fool's paradise. Nobody can name any foreign country, particularly any alien country, which has been approached for any support. As a matter of fact, there is no external power which is in fact having sympathies with PTI. In particular, the Congress role ought not to be deemed or reckoned as a role of a government. The world is now not oblivion to the gross human rights violation in Pakistan. And it has largely, because thanks to the technological and scientific advancement, the world has become a global village. Any violation anywhere in the world is taken notice by the developed countries. Now in Pakistan, you see there are curbs, apart from the curbs over the political rights and the citizen rights, there are curbs over social media, over Twitter, WhatsApp, and what for? What for? The basic aim is that no outcry or no complaints of the people of Pakistan should reach the external world, to the West. Now you need to see and peruse the 2023 Human Rights Report issued by the US government. Then again, the Human Rights Report issued by the European Commission.
Most critical day in Pakistan's history when armed forces installations, military offices, these all were attacked. Why Mr. Khan is reluctant in apologizing and admitting 9th May that there was his role? Yes.
Well, there are a large number of false accusations against Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf on account of 9th May incidents.
9th May.
It was alleged that the martyr statues were demolished. Till date, not a single statue of any martyr has been quoted as to where the statue was and whose statue it was. Okay, number one. I've been a legal attorney in dozens of cases registered as an aftermath of 9th May, like the attack over the GHQ. So, again, it was said GHQ was attacked, stones were pelted, and this and that was done. However, I have closely examined the evidence available with the prosecution, and the matter of fact is that GHQ was 2 kilometers away from the place where the place of occurrence is described in the police case. So there was no GHQ was attacked, and in fact, a private restaurant and a gate that is said that it was a GHQ, nothing was damaged. Then again, the Corps Commander House in Lahore, now it is in the heart of the cantonment. The paramount question is that how did the people make it possible to reach there? Where was the police? The police and the state institution are so powerful, so dreadful, and so wielding such a influence that today you cited the example that why did you fail to hold the public meeting? Where was the police on 9th May in Lahore? Where was the military police? Where were the other agencies responsible for the custody of the cantonment and the Corps Commander House? And like there cannot, it can't be a coincidence that a very heavy, strongly built metallic building of Radio Pakistan Peshawar and the house of the corps commander were burned and were reduced to ashes by the mobsters who were not armed or equipped with any chemical. Where from the chemical came? How these buildings were set ablaze? Where are the CCTV cameras? And there are hundreds of cameras, both near the GHQ, around the GHQ, and the corps commander house. Not a single army officer was cited as a witness in any case registered after 9th May. Throughout Pakistan, not a single soldier or police constable received any laceration, let alone any firearm. On the contrary, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, 25 workers were tried. About 100 received bullet wounds, and 4 of them have become permanently disabled. We have filed a petition before the Supreme Court of Pakistan on 22nd of May 2023, requesting it to hold a judicial inquiry into the 9th May events. The same exercise was undertaken by the KP government, which, after a cabinet decision, sent a reference to the Chief Justice Peshawar High Court for constitution of a judicial commission to look into the events that took place in KP, particularly in Peshawar, Mardan, Dir, and Banu on 9th May, and decide and determine the responsible officials. So, had these judicial inquiries been held, that would have resulted into bringing out the true facts to the fore. At the moment, you have seen Bushra Bibi was accused in 12 cases, and yesterday the result was that she was exonerated. Khan has been exonerated in a number of cases. Almost 90% of the PTI leadership, which was accused of instigating riots or leading any negotiations which resulted into some kind of scuffle or burning of the installation, 90% of such people has been released, except those who are facing trial by the military tribunal, and that decision is in fact awaited.
Okay, last question, Mr. Marwat, is last question. We are near to the closing of the program. In KP, PTI is in power, and in the National Assembly of Pakistan, where your member PTI is on the opposition, which is also in democracy an important role. What is PTI's agenda for change in Pakistan? Because on one hand, you have a government in KP, in National Assembly, you are sitting in opposition, you have also representation in Senate. Do you think PTI has any agenda which is totally apolitical and for Pakistan? Please.
Well, the PTI agenda is crystal clear. Now, after undergoing these torments, ordeals, and enemies, we are very clear in our approach to the resolving of the Pakistan's problems. We have no doubt in holding that if Pakistan has to flourish, its economy has to flourish, political instability has to be revived, then condition precedent for it is an independent judiciary, number one. Number two, the rule of law must, under all circumstances, be upheld by all and sundry. And thirdly, we have to give particular esteem to the Constitution, which guarantees the fundamental rights of the citizens of Pakistan. To achieve this, we have to ensure that we act on such a contract, as a result whereof we could allocate the state's institution, like judiciary, to its realm of justice, the executive of doing its job, and the legislature of making laws for Pakistan. So this separation of power, which is based on trichotomy of power in our constitution, must be upheld. And no, probably we may not strike any deal based on expediencies. We will go with pragmatism. We will go to the core of issues. Enough is enough. After 76 years of Pakistan's life, we neither have any sustainable development. We are having a declining economy. We are having a law and order situation across the country. We are having jobless youths. Millions have, in fact, migrated to the different parts of the country.
You talk about youth. Last question is, what is your message to the youth, which is asset for Pakistan, but they are directionless? What is your message to the Pakistani youth?
My message to the Pakistani youth is that we are at the moment working under the constitutional purview and mandate, and we have been struggling for a revival of democracy and restoration of rule of law. And still it appears that the authorities are not letting us exercise our rights. So we are left with only one option, and that is to take out public to the roads, lead demonstrations, rallies, conventions, and if necessary, sit-ins at key places in the country to force the authorities to subdue to the public outcry. And if it demands a price that was given by the people in Bangladesh in the shape of 300 lives, then Pakistanis need to be ready. We must sacrifice our time, our energies, our lives for Pakistan, and if a need arises, we must offer ourselves. Pakistan needs it for our coming generation.
That's indeed, that should be the spirit and message, that youth should spend their all energies for Pakistan, because ultimately our politics, our system, our everything is for Pakistan. Our struggle is for Pakistan. Thank you so much indeed, Mr. Sher Afzal Marwat, that despite your very, very busy schedule, you spared some time and spoke to program Insight in B News English. Dear viewers, till our next program, Khuda Hafiz and goodbye from studios.
Thank you.